We are live.
Now, speaking of cricket, he was all about getting his butthole in my face last time I was trying to play a video game earlier tonight.
Oh, dude, you see how he does me.
Yeah. But
I'm
he was
just,
like, he doesn't like my lap. That's the thing, is he never settles on my lap, so he was just like back and forth on the keyboard, like, look at my butthole, mom.
yep. Dude, cricket toxoplasmosis mind controlled me a long time ago. I started realizing that my whole way of thinking about cricket has changed. I firmly believe that toxoplasmosis is one of the ways that cats have integrated themselves into our. It's a fucking evolutionary trait.
Yeah, it's like a symbiotic relationship with toxoplasmosis.
No, it is. Like,
Yeah.
I fucking think about cricket. When he first came, I thought about him one way.
Yeah.
Like, as a pet.
Yeah.
As a little thing that I was responsible for. Now I think of him as the ruler of this house. I shit you not.
You don't get mad at him.
I
for
don't.
Coming. Like you saw, like I was like, you're being really nice to him for getting in the side room. I like launch him when he's in somewhere he's not supposed to be.
Fuck no. Like, I just don't, because he's perfect.
Yeah.
His toxoplasmosis has eaten my brain. Like, any part of my brain that would be critical of cricket is gone. He's now king of the road and king of the house. Good evening. What to do, what to do, what to do, what to do, what to do. Hello. Good evening. How's everybody doing? How is everybody doing? Know any good mechanics around slow? I wish I did, Phoebes. You have a breakdown? What's going on with your ride? Yeah, I don't honestly know. I've been lucky. I've never had to take my car in to get it fixed, or never had a breakdown in slow or anywhere near Pismo. Been there a million fucking times, had every fucking occasion. I would say that just pulling into a place is probably your best bet. I mean, you don't have to pay a fucking mechanic. Though they have to quote you first. So it's just like, if you can get it to a place and they quote you some absurd thing, or you feel like you're getting jerked around, then there's other places you can take it. You could also ask some locals, honestly. Go out down into downtown slow and do an excuse me. Like, do you know, like, are you local? Do you know any good, mechanics type of thing?
Yeah, go into like a little gas station or something where the person lives there.
Yeah, man, we got stranded on the highway 3 times trying to get to Paso Robles because the van overheated 3 separate times. We finally got rescued by somebody with a big jug of water. So you got radiator problems then, I would imagine. Or a coolant leak, like a leaky radiator or a detached hose. Yeah, if your car's overheating like that, that's 100% probably what it is.
I mean, my ex's car did that when we were driving to Mississippi, and it ended up not being like it's gonna probably end up being a Band-Aid and not a fix if it's overheating that much.
I would imagine so, yeah. I mean, once a car starts doing that, because there are other things going on that'll lead to it needing, like, overtaxing the fucking, a cracked radiator. See, that's the worst, because that means that you have to replace the whole fucking radiator unit. And that's the most expensive way that an overheating car can work out. It sucks, dude. Could also be a bad water pump. Well, it doesn't sound like that now. I would say cracked radiator would be the first thing I would look at. But you're right. It could be a cracked radiator in concert with a bad water pump. It's just maybe the bad water pump is what made the radiator overheat, which is what caused it to go past its heat limit and crack. and then now you've got your problem. Yeah, that's absolutely true. My dad used to do that for people in the neighborhood and shit. My dad is a world-class welder. It's another thing about him. He learned how to fucking lay down a bead. And so he used to fix people's radiators. He'd pop them out for them, like people that had a crack, and he'd solder weld everything back together for them, make it all work. You could tell where the repair was. It was all nice and shiny, you know what I mean? But throw that fucking thing back in your car, hook it back up to the hose, and then off you go.
Now, plastic.
Yep. Well, see, the thing is, though, I think Phoebes is driving an older car, so maybe, you know, she might luck out. Yeah, if you got a metal radiator in your van, then you have a chance of you'd have to find somebody to solder weld. Mm-hmm. But a good mechanic shop is going to be able to lay down a bead, so that's what I would recommend that you do, is try and find a mechanic shop. And well, first off, try and ascertain if your radiator is metal or plastic. If it's a plastic radiator, you're fucked. I had a bad radiator once. I dumped a bottle of water into it, which immediately dumped out. That's a crack. Why are you being so pudding?
Oh,
go get
someone already got him.
Yeah, nail him. Get him out.
Good job, Phoebe.
Get him out. Get him out. I have played some Dark Souls games. I used to think I didn't like Souls-like games. But what I found out was I'm just really not all that into the setting of Dark Souls. Like, the setting is very dark, very gray, and gets kind of boring to me. Whereas I play a more colorful Souls-like game. The Surge 2 is my favorite one. And I'm way into them.
Star Wars The Fallen Order.
Star Wars Fallen Order. I beat that one. So, yeah. I've never played Bloodborne, but I can tell you that the setting feels very Dark Souls-y to me looking at it. It's that washed out kind of shit. A radiator will require a big welder and removal anyhow. Right, I'm just saying that, like, if she's got a metal radiator, then that is something, like a big welder is what a lot of fucking mechanic shops have. And if they don't, then find one that does. A TIG welder, right? I remember it looked like, I remember my dad's welder. I used to look at it, and I don't know if you guys have ever seen that movie Return to Oz, but there's that machine that's got all the dials on it at the beginning of that. I used to look at my dad's old welder, because he had a big old standing welder, and had all the fucking meters and dials, buttons and shit, and I was never allowed to touch anything on it. But he was real good at it. No, he never taught me to weld. You know what? As a kid, I never showed the interest that he wanted me to in that type of stuff. I used to like watching him work sometimes, but most of the time I was more interested in going and playing pretend and shit. Like going and hang out with my friends, ride my scooter around the neighborhood and stuff. I think he really, like, wanted me to be into that whole mechanic kind of thing, but I just wasn't. But my dad is like a master mechanic. He can build, not just, I guess building isn't being a mechanic. So he's also a master builder, construction guy. Like, he can build, tear apart, or fix any mechanical object. He's kind of brilliant that way. He just has a finesse for it. Like, I've told you guys, he took that old Jeep that was just a busted out, rusted out Hulk with a non-working engine, and he took the rusty, shitty body from that thing, bondoed it, sanded it all down, restored it to nice, rebuilt, you know, from junkyards and shit, would find parts and just rebuilt everything that was busted on that Jeep until it was drivable. And he did that right out of his garage with his own tools. You know what I mean? It wasn't like some specialty project that he had ordered this, that, or the other thing for. He had the ability to basically build a car. I remember, like, my dad was the type of guy, we had this old Ford F-150. It was a 1969 Ford F-150. And I remember that the engine was finally fucking going on it. And I thought, man, no, I love that old truck. And I remember telling my dad, I was like, man, it kind of sucks that the truck's dying. And he was like, it's not dying. He's like, I'm dropping another engine in that fucking truck. He's like, it's way cheaper for me to just rebuild an engine and throw it in that truck than it would be for me to buy a truck like that. He's like, watch. And like 2 months later, that truck had a new engine in it.
Which just makes it even meaner that he sold you that lemon.
Yeah, I know.
Because he could have totally made it not a lemon.
Yeah. Well, that was a fuck you. That lemon was definitely a fuck you. My dad did the same thing, bought a frame, built it from the ground up, trying to do that now in my grandpa's big block 66 Ford truck. Cool. Yeah, I have an appreciation for working on cars and stuff and the skill of it, but I do not have that. Now, I'm better than some people. The most complex thing that I've ever done on my own is change an alternator. I was able to change the alternator out on my 90 Dodge Daytona by myself when it started to fuck up. So that's the most but like a lot of people couldn't have done that, you know what I mean? So I'm really good at like changing a tire and shit, basic mechanical stuff, basic little things about cars I can do. Like I was able to jerry rig Ashley's car one time. There's like a little tension cord that controls your brakes, and her brake lights that controls your brake lights, and her brake lights were engaged all the time, and it was draining her battery. And that's what we found out it was. Like her battery started dying, and I thought, fuck, her alternator's going out. But then I noticed one night when she came home, she turned off her car, her fucking brake lights were on all night. And so I was like, shit. I went and I looked, and I found that little tension cable under there had snapped. So I took a fucking paper clip and like twisted it up and hooked it up so that like it held the little lever from engaging the brake lights until she pushed the thing. So it did the same thing as the little part, but you know what I mean? It was able to jerry rig that. And as far as I know, until that car, she sold it, until she got rid of that car, that paper clip was there. It works.
Someone said they sent you some timestamps on your last stream to your Twitter.
Okay, cool. All right, fair enough. Well, I appreciate that. You can go like post them in the chat.
It says that they couldn't, like for some reason, the comment wouldn't go up.
Oh,
timestamps. So that's why they
ridiculous. Well, thank you. All right, I will look at that and see what I can do about getting them up, and see what I can do about timestamping last night's talk. I appreciate the work. I know that there is a timestamp for one thing last night, which, you know, I'm fine with that. I'd rather people at least do that. Like if you timestamp one thing in the thing instead of having to worry about timestamping every little subtopic. If there was one or two good parts, timestamp those for me. But yeah, I appreciate that. I'll take a look. Thank you. Most I'll do to my car is fill the washer fluid and pump the tires. For modern cars, that's pretty much all you have to do. But anyway, boring topic for some people, but car maintenance. Interesting because, you know, it's funny to me. I think about it sometimes. I have a parent that was basically a mechanical genius. Could build a fucking house on his own, given the materials and the time. and just knew innately how to do that and how to make things plumb and how to, so he was great with a saw and great with all the like woodworking type of tools, the basic building, woodworking, framing type of tools. He had all that shit in his garage. A welder, car mechanic, heavy machinery mechanic. My dad knew how to fix front end loaders, so he was a cat mechanic, which is, that's a specialty job. He's basically like, I don't know, he could just fix or build anything. He was really good with his hands, really good with that. I like remembering those things about my dad. As I get older, and he's getting older and older and older, you know what I mean? The probability that one day I'll get a call that he's dead and never get the chance to talk to him about anything again makes me want to, like, at the very least, try and couch the positive things about my father. You know what I mean? And that's definitely one of them. That's one of the things I always looked up to him about. Just a real talented guy when it came to building, fixing, manipulating machinery. He could drive anything, too. He was great at that, too. My dad, a really great driver. Just a really competent driver. Paul, what do you think of the population of electric cars potentially putting mechanics that primarily work on gas vehicles out of work, people who work on carburetor, gas engines, and the like? I don't think that the proliferation of electric cars is going to reach a point that people that can work on carburetors and gas engines and shit are in any fucking, danger of not being needed just yet. I think you're talking maybe like 40, 50 years down the road, assuming an uninterrupted fucking economy, which, sorry to tell you, I don't think that's happening. But yeah, 40, 50 years down the road, when electric vehicles have proliferated to the point where pretty much everybody has one, and owning a gas vehicle is now considered to be like hobbyist stuff, at that point, those people will still have a very niche market, but there will be less and less competition for their services as time goes on. And so right now there's a huge abundance of these small, privately owned, fix-em-up mechanic places that are owner-operator joints. And those places are functionally dead in 20, 30 years, I would say.
I mean, unless they start mandating electric cars, I just don't see flexing on it.
EV technology has already become ubiquitous, though. The problem is that people are getting them and don't even know that they have them now. Like hybrids have become, and working on a hybrid engine is different from working on an old carburetor motor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't make those engines anymore.
Yeah.
So our car isn't a car that we could take to a guy that was a carburetor specialist. It doesn't have a fucking carburetor, It's fuel injected. So it's like guys that work on these old engines and shit, writing's on the wall. Because it's as global warming gets worse, too, states are becoming more and more, and rightfully so, draconian about emission standards, right? And these old cars just belch shit. And in order to have one, you've got to get a historical vehicle fucking thing. And it starts to, especially the older shit. And it starts to get expensive to fucking have these things, to the point where it's like they're really encouraging you to retire this vehicle.
I just think, like, overall with electric only cars, I don't think that needle's gonna budge in America unless someone forces it to.
I think it's gonna be a slow, passive change from hybrid electric engines to full electric vehicles, and it'll be something that happens generationally. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's happening anytime soon. I agree with you there, but I don't think that anybody will have to force it. I think it's already starting to happen. I see I remember when hybrids were like seeing a Lamborghini. Mm-hmm. You see them everywhere now. they're ubiquitous now. And now they're starting to make hybrid trucks, hybrid SUVs. So people that normally wouldn't have wanted to drive around a little Prius now have no excuse. I'm starting to see those hybrid electric fucking big trucks. So it's like the writing for me is on the wall. The transition has started, and in 30, 40, 50 years, most people will be buying plug-in electric hybrid or plug-in electric vehicles.
Do you think that's like the majority of like Elon Musk's inflated stock?
Probably.
Seeing
his
that long-term.
Well, because car companies have actively suppressed electric vehicle technology, and back in the 90s, they actually killed a working electric vehicle. There was I think they brought it back. I think it was called the Chevy Volt. And Chevrolet had invented it. It was a long-running electric motored car that was plug-in fucking hybrid back in the 90s. And the car companies buried it. They were like, no, 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 no. Engines, gas. And that was it. And so for a long time, there was this stagnation in the technology. And then slowly but surely, you started to see these hybrid cars. And Elon Musk jumped feet first and was like, we're doing full electric.
Yeah.
And that's why his stock, I think, is so inflated.
Yeah.
It's because people are betting on the transition point when full electric, because like he's the first guy on the market.
Yeah.
Now you're starting to see Teslas out on the road.
Yeah.
We saw a Tesla the other day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
In terms of his space shit, I think that's probably kind of a stinker.
No, his space shit is fucking good too. Here's the thing about Elon Musk. He has a contract with NASA.
Yeah.
His missiles are going to be what takes cargo to space.
Yeah.
It already are. His self-landing fucking missile pods, they're great. They're amazing. He didn't invent them, but his company did.
Yeah.
So his space shit is... It's
I mean,
not
like
going to take us to fucking Mars, but I'm talking about...
that shit is what's that's the stinker.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. No, his like rocketry shit, when it comes to like updating the way we get cargo up into space and how we reuse the materials from that, he's dank on that. Hyperloop is dumps. Right, but like here's the thing. Don't you think that the Hyperloop is misunderstood? Because from what I understand about the Hyperloop, it was started as a project for engineering students that he funds, right? It's not like now he's talked about it and played it up and shit, and I understand that. But as far as functionally what he does with it with his company, right? It's just a thing he funds for, and it's a bunch of engineering grad students that work on it. Am I wrong? Like, who cares? It's a big science experiment out in the middle of nowhere.
Fucking
let him do it.
Thunderfoot has a hate boner.
Dude, Thunderfoot has made his whole fucking career about hating on the fucking Hyperloop. And I'm just like, dude, this is the most controversial college project ever funded by a billionaire. Like, get over it, bro. Oh my God, everybody knows nobody's gonna ride the fucking Hyperloop anytime soon. It's just a fucking project.
Dude. Thunderfoot will ride that to his grave.
he will, dude. He's gonna be like fucking 90 years old, and the Hyperloop project will still like my ultimate dream. And I know it's not gonna happen, but it would be so funny if like there's a breakthrough in Hyperloop and he has to eat shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Somebody please save all of Thunderfoot's videos, because all of a sudden Hyperloop becomes king shit because they figure out some way to make it really fucking, like, maybe it doesn't move people, but it moves cargo. I want to see him like go like, oh, so now we're supposed to accept that the Hyperloop is just a cargo moving device. I thought we were going to move people with it. He'll be salty. This motherfucker will never give up. He'll be 90 fucking years up going like, goddamn Hyperloop's late again. Guess my Hyperloop delivery didn't get here in the 15 minutes that was promised. Oh, Elon Musk, oh, what a piece of shit. That's my dream. I know that'll never happen because, like, once again, it's just a fucking college project. It's a graduate student project that Elon Musk funds for people that want to work on physics shit. It's like, get over it, bruh. Get all the way the fuck over it. Oh my God. Dude, I saw one pop up the other day and I thought it was old. Scrolling through my shit, because I'm still subscribed to Thunderfoot from way back in the day. I have a thing about touching people that, like, unsubscribing from people that I followed way back in 2006, 2007 and shit. So I just left them on there. And I saw some shit pop up in my recommended, and I thought it's an old Hyperloop video, and I looked and it was like 17 hours old and had 200,000 views. And it was like, another Hyperloop fail. And I'm just like, oh my fucking God, bro. Elon Musk is not selling Hyperloop like it's the future of humanity. He's hyping up the students that are working on Hyperloop so that maybe they make a breakthrough. They get the chance to get engineering experience and shit. Like, get over yourself. Please, bro. Please. 200,000 views in 17 hours for another Hyperloop takedown. It's like there's a whole community of people that hate this fucking tube. You know what I mean? They hate it. They want this tube to blow up, man. That fucking tube out there, god damn it. Elon Musk built a tube. He's letting students play around with it and do physics experiments with it. God damn Elon Musk, that goddamn fucking tube out there. I tell you what pisses me off about what's going down in the world. It ain't the fact that the fucking world's functionally dead in 50 years. It's that goddamn Elon Musk tube out there. Sitting out there in that fucking desert being all experimenty and whatnot. It just pisses me off, that tube.
I see this dude like, no, it's because he doesn't like what Elon says about it. Like, Elon Musk is a weird dude.
Oh my God, Elon Musk is a hype man for a fucking tech company. Get over it, bro. Get over it. It's his job to go out there and go like, yeah, and another project we have working on, I'm really excited about. A lot of students are working on the Hyperloop, and it looks like you could probably be a future form of transportation being born. We got a big second test coming up, and we're gonna stream it live and blah 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 blah. And this is all just hype up fucking engineering grad students. It's like, get over it. As long as Elon pays his taxes, well, I mean, no rich person really pays their taxes, but he pays what taxes he has to as a rich person, I guarantee you. He's in good standing with the IRS if that's all you care about. Whether he pays his taxes, I mean, you know, que sera, sera, I guess.
But no. Like, you know, like, some of Thunderfoot's criticisms are perfectly valid and researched, but it's just funny that he's so obsessed with it.
Exactly.
All this time.
Yes. The Hyperloop is a death trap waiting to fucking happen. He's hammered this fucking home so many times. What you have is a vacuum. And if something catches on fire, like, say, one of the batteries that runs these Hyperloop devices, then everyone in that tube is dead. And it's like, Thunderfoot, please shut up. Please shut up. We know. We get, I'm not even a fucking science guy, and I know the thing is goddamn fucking dangerous. It's a vacuum tube that you're supposed to whiz down at 1,000 miles an hour. This idea that we are going to take men out of the atmosphere of Earth into a vacuum is ridiculous. Shut up, Thunderfoot.
You've only said it 500 times now.
It's a cash cow for him. It's just Mr. Elon Musk fucking Hyperloop takedown. That goddamn fucking tube in the desert. That tube in the desert has consumed my life. I was once a well-respected academic, covered a wide range of scientific topics. And then I visited the tube. I saw it with my own eyes. I went and did a documentary about it. This is the Hyperloop. Oh my God, look how short this tube is. And then the tube consumed me. Get out of here, Thunderfoot.
Yeah. Solar roadways too. That was his other.
That was a good dunk, though.
Yeah.
That was a real good dunk. That one was dog shitty bang bang. That one was a good dunk. See, I think he got high off of his dunk of solar roadways.
Yeah.
Because that to me was a real good dunk of something that a whole bunch of people were going like, this is the future of the road. And he was like, no, it isn't. This is a plastic nightmare. Blah, blah, blah. And it was. Still doesn't work. It never did, was meant to work. It was a big old grift. And I think he got like high on that. And now he's like, I really think that Thunderfoot goes, here's what I think what happens every night when Thunderfoot goes to bed. And we all know Thunderfoot's an atheist. So he's praying to nothing. But I think he gets down on his knees before his bed and he goes, Lord, please let a bunch of students die in the Hyperloop today. Please. It will be my largest video ever and will prove me right and prove my crusade right. Please let the Hyperloop explode today. Come on, dude. Shut up. Move on. I thought solar roadways was genuinely the future, but I knew even if it worked, there's no way the government would cut off the use of oil to fuel cities. Well, not only that, but like the technology as it was conceived was just shitty. It was a bunch of units that fit together, not one contiguous surface. And so think about, you know what I mean? Like you just watch the Thunderfoot video. Think about 1 million cars rolling over this. This is going to be a fucking wreck. Every time a car passes over, a little bit of damage is being done to that little joist between things. And pretty soon they're going to break and come off and fly off and be fucking wrecked and crack and it's over. You know what I mean? That whole solar roadways thing was a total fucking grift. Now, maybe something like that under something else that's see-through, but what the fuck would that be? Thick glass? You know what I mean? We're just not at the point where we're going to have digital fucking cyber roadways that guide you where you're going. You know what I mean? It's not, sorry, not in the future.
People are obsessed with like, no, Thunderfoot's totally justified in doing all his videos. It's like, yeah, maybe the first 5, but this is like
dude.
25.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, okay, we get it. You don't think that it's a good experiment. You don't think it's ever going to amount to anything. You've told us why it's slow, why it's not going to work, why it's dangerous. And he's made like fucking like, I bet there's 100 videos on his channel about the goddamn fucking Hyperloop snake out in the desert. That tube has consumed him. He is now the Hyperloop. Do you understand? He doesn't understand it. He can't see out anymore because he's in the tube. He lives inside the tube. Every day, Thunderfoot wakes up in the morning and goes, Hyperloop. Dude, oh yeah, his old style of having a meme popping up on the screen too. Like an old fucking like rage face meme from like 1920 whatever. You know what I mean? The troll face will pop up now in 2021 when he's talking about shit. And it's just like, get out of here. You know what, Thunderfoot? Get the fuck out. Get out. I want to stuff him in the Hyperloop and turn it on. That's what I want to do. I want a horror movie about a crazy internet guy that abducts another crazy internet guy who's all against some fucking science project. And they're on 2 sides of it and they argue about it, and then it ends with the dude getting stuffed in the Hyperloop and it gets turned on. He's like, no, and he flies to the end, but he knows the tube is very short, you know. End credits. Hyperlooper. Fuck me, bro. I want to stuff fucking Thunderfoot in a Hyperloop, bro. He needs to become one with the Hyperloop. I think he wants to fuck the Hyperloop, honestly. Like, I have never seen somebody flirt so hard with an inanimate object. He is like the little fucking boy that pulls the little girl's pigtails in 2nd grade. You know what I mean? He will not let go of the Hyperloop's pigtails. Do you see what Hyperloop did today? I hate that Hyperloop. I fucking hate that Hyperloop. Oh, Hyperloop. Oh, Hyperloop. Come on.
I mean, he's a real smart dude. He's just obsessive. That's all.
Well, I think he's obsessive about making money because clearly his Hyperloop takedown shit gets about fucking 250,000 views every time he does it. So he just can't stop ringing the cash register, and people can't stop ringing it either. Oh yeah, another video about how the tube in the desert sucks. Yeah. Fucking insta-click, insta-like, insta-share with all my science buddies. Look at another Elon Musk takedown right here. It's just like, God damn it, bro. Shut up, please.
Maybe that'll be the one guest you have, just so you can chew him out.
Oh my God. Dude, I would rip Thunderfoot's asshole open. He might be right about everything he says scientifically, and I'm still gonna, because I'm gonna come at him like this. I'm gonna tell him that, like, look, dude, maybe if you ask Elon, he'll put a porthole in and he'll let you fuck the Hyperloop. Would that release the angst? Like, if they turned the vacuum tube on, there was like a little hole that was like, and you could put your dick in it and you could fuck the Hyperloop tube. Would that blow off all the steam here? Yeah, he was a guest on DP when I was there, yeah. I don't think Hyperloop had been invented yet, though. Back in those days, he was still concerned with, like, taking down religious arguments and doing science experiments on his channel and shit. Oh, he does. Oh, I see. You're right. What if he wants the Hyperloop inside of him? So what if Elon integrates a dildo to the end of the Hyperloop, and then the next time they do a test and send something zooming down it, fucking Thunderfoot could be on the other end riding the Hyperloop then. You know what I mean? Literally riding the Hyperloop. Just have him, like, instead of capping it off at the end with just a dome, you know, at the end of the tunnel, just have him design a nice big floppy dick on there. Next time they run a test so he can feel all the fucking vibrations of the Hyperloop coming, you know. Oh, yes! Hyperloop! Just give him what he wants, man. Let him hate fuck the solar roadways, too. Let him lay face down on that and fuck that, too. You know what I mean? Well, ladies and gentlemen, my debunking of the Hyperloop is over. I've finally blown the hyperload. Elon finally allowed me to fuck the object of my affection. It's now the world's biggest prostate massager. Hyperload, dude. I've blown the hyperload. And by the way, I am marrying the Hyperloop. Her name is Lupinia. I would like to introduce all of you to her. Clang, clang, clang. Elon's been so nice as to allow me to move my operations to a little shack here next to Lupinia. That's what's missing from this analysis. Who else but Thunderfoot is doing this? What? Hyper fixating on the Hyperloop constantly?
Like, do you not understand that Paul is making a joke?
Yeah, dude. I really have to at this point interject and tell you guys that I'm making a fucking joke. I really don't care if Thunderfoot jerks off to the Hyperloop forever. You know, it's good that he's out there like trying to debunk scientism or whatever the fuck, right? Okay, fine. Are we good? I'm just joking about the fact that for like 6 years now, he's buttered his bread, beating up a fucking college project. You know what I mean? I get it. And Elon Musk has got a big profile, and he said some pretty dumb shit about the fucking Hyperloop, and yeah. But like, you know. Paul, you can't tell jokes. We have autism. I'm sorry. I forgot. Paul, you're making fun of Thunderfoot for talking about the Hyperloop, but is it not you who are the fool for talking about him? Oh, shit. Dude, you just fucking, we live in a society, but we also criticize it, memed me. Oh, fuck, man, I'm done. My main problem with Musk comes from the fact that Tesla component factory workers overseas are vastly underpaid, and a lot of the wealth he gained to start was apartheid emerald mines. Yes. Okay, well, I don't disagree with either of those things, but that is true of literally every fucking car company. Every car company is either fully manufactured, or at the very least, its parts are manufactured overseas and it's assembled here. And the people that work in those factories are paid shit. So don't drive a car, I guess. You know what I mean? Elon Musk is playing the same game that all the other auto manufacturers are. And that's the reason why you see an electric Tesla on the road every once in a while. I know you probably, like, you're in Cali right now. You've been driving up and down Cali. You're in fucking Tesla heaven right now. I can almost guarantee you've seen 15, 20 of those fucking things. Maybe you haven't seen them, but you've passed by them as you've been driving in California. And probably as you've gotten to the West.
Oh, so your problem with Musk is that he's on Twitter?
I mean, whatever. Who fucking cares? Like, I just think people have such a hate boner for Elon Musk, and I don't, like, I understand where, like, yes, he's a rich kid. Yes, he inherited his fortune from his parents' apartheid emerald mines in South Africa. Yes, he makes some wild fucking claims about technology. He's kind of an optimistic futurist, and he likes going on fucking, you know, whatever interviews and talking about crazy shit that LA is going to have some underground hyperloop shit or some, you know, he likes doing that. The dude also funds a lot of like rocketry and science and shit that's actually shown promise. The dude also full-blown created from the ground up a car company, which now is becoming more and more ubiquitous. Like, I live in the middle of fucking nowhere and I see Teslas. So, like, let's put in perspective what he is and hate him for the things he's hateable for. Yeah, I agree. Like, well, to be honest with you, can you really hate Elon Musk for inheriting money? Yeah. Okay. Like, yes, it sucks that his parents fucking profited off apartheid emerald mines. But he didn't choose to be born Elon Musk, right? So shitting on him for that seems a little disingenuous. Like, what the fuck? Elon bought Tesla, right, but he made it a functioning car company. He took it from an esoteric little tech company that made a prototype or two, but that was never going to ever bring a fucking manufactured product to market. And now you see fucking Teslas everywhere. Tesla Model X, Tesla Model A, Tesla this, Tesla that. I saw one of the expensive ass fucking Teslas when we were driving down from Louisiana to here.
And like you can contrast that with someone like Jeff Bezos, that is the head of this giant octopus consuming everything and putting its tendrils in every fucking industry on the planet.
Right. Right. And functionally providing nothing but fulfillment of packages and shit for the trouble of it.
Yeah.
Fulfillment of packages, be they digital or real. That's Tesla Model Y, Tesla Model whatever. And I saw one of those expensive ass fucking like self-driving, self-parking weird fucking Teslas on the way up here. But like I see the fucking mid-range Teslas all the goddamn time now, or the low-end Teslas or whatever they are. The Model X, I think, is the little gull-wing Tesla. Ugh. I see those fucking all the time.
Yeah, it's like Elon Musk is, despite all of his faults, trying to do something to make the world a little better.
I mean, I don't know about that. It's like, because here's the thing. I don't really know that Elon Musk wants to make the world better. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't.
Well, I guess maybe not make the world better, but to increase the technology of the world to a different level.
At the very least, change some kind of fucking paradigms and shit. And he's already done that in rocketry. He's already changed functionally for now and forever how we are going to move things up into space.
Someone like Bezos just caters to the worst impulses of consumerism.
Yep. He's a giant fucking tick on the giant tick of consumerism. He's just a big giant part of that. Like at the very least, Elon Musk has contributed something to the world and not just taken from it. So it's like he gets so much fucking hate because he says stupid shit, and I get it. But it's like there are so many more fucking hateable CEOs. Like the dude straight up went on fucking Twitter and said his own company was undervalued and caused the stock to crash. Like that was pretty fucking cool in my book. Wants to change the world. I mean, yeah. He's like, Tesla's overvalued. Stock went, but it went right back the fuck up. It's now higher than it was when he said that.
Okay, Phoebe, we'll read the first part. Musk wants to make it easier for the government to launch IBMs, make life easier for luxury car buyers, and make transferring money easier for giant banks.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, like I said, you're not going to find a fucking billionaire that's defensible as a totally good person. They're all pieces of shit. He's got tons of fucking money. He made most of his nut on PayPal, which is an exploitative fucking system. But he also owns SpaceX and Tesla. And nobody else that hates him has invented a fucking electric vehicle that doesn't belch carbon everywhere it goes. You know what I mean? You want me to take that from him? You want me to take, instead of wasting the materials on every launch because every rocket just burns up on re-entry and crashes, we can barely, salvage them, like taking it from that to rockets that re-land and be reused and refueled and maintained real quick, and then you put another fucking load on them and they launch again. Like, that's amazing. That's an amazing burst of efficiency that makes more launches possible. So if you like anything about humanity, at least studying the Earth from space, being able to build stable structures around the Earth to monitor it from space and shit, like, he's helped with that. He's changed forever and always how the United States and thus the world will convey things back and forth from space. So it's like you got to take the good with the bad or else. You know what I mean? You can get lost in the Musk hate, or you can just exist where I am. He's a neutral figure in my mind as a billionaire. He's a shitbag, but you know what I mean? Dude, that's fucking not like, look, that's gonna be a problem. You're talking about the kind of monopoly that Tesla has, right? So you can't take, there's not a third party market for parts. You can't buy Tesla parts from other people. What the fuck is Elon supposed to do about that? Start a third party Tesla parts company? It's because other companies are trying to suppress this technology because they want to keep selling fucking V8 diesel engines to us. So until this catches on in such a way, you're not going to be able to, you're right, you're going to have to go to fucking Tesla for the maintenance on your Tesla. Because nobody's going to have the parts to work on a fucking Tesla. Like, what do you want to...
Isn't that the same as any luxury car? Like Lamborghinis and shit?
Well, absolutely. You can't, I mean, but that's not, we're not even talking about a luxury car here. We're talking about a car that just absolutely is the best iteration of a plug-in electric vehicle that America has ever seen. And until other companies are on board with this, the parts that are involved are not going to be ubiquitous. They're going to be proprietary. I mean, what do you want them to do? I mean, people seem like intent on like painting him in a negative light. Go ahead. That's fine. I'm not trying to paint him in a positive light. I'm just trying to provide a counterbalance to the constant fucking like, Elon sucks, Elon fuck Elon, diamond fucking apartheid fucking blah, 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 PayPal, you know what I mean? And it's like, well, yeah, but Rocketeer, or at least financier of Rocketeers, and fucking financier of student projects and shit that churn out future engineers, and at very least is trying different things, and fucking purchased an ailing fucking electric vehicle company and turned it into a car that's now ubiquitous on the roads in America. Yeah, nobody's trying to paint him like he's fucking Tony Stark or some shit. I'm just trying to say, as billionaires go, you could do worse than fucking Elon Musk.
It's like people shit on you all the time for not being nuanced on things, and the one time you're nuanced, people are like, "Oh, why are you fucking nuanced?" It's like,
it is what it is, dude. I can't win for fucking losing.
Yeah.
It is what it is. No matter what I say, whatever take I take is gonna be absurd, and it's just like, whatever. Whatever, you know, I mean, like, as billionaires go, he's, you know what I mean? What can I do? Yeah, if I could snap my fingers and eliminate all billionaires and redistribute their wealth to the fucking people, I'd do it. But as it stands, we live in a world where there's fucking billionaires, and they have massive influence on the government, and they have massive influence on the market, and they have massive influence everywhere. And as it goes, Elon Musk has contributed some cool utility and some actual fucking drivable fucking difference to a couple of aspects of the way we do business in America. And that's better than a lot of fucking billionaires can say. He didn't invent it. He's not the dude that invented the Tesla. He just empowered students, grad students, and people that were fucking worked in technology to design and create these things. Okay. He has programmed me. To what?
This is the same dude that's like fucking just.
Dude, I'm starting to think Electric Bill is fucking Thunderfoot.
Yeah.
It's a Thunderfoot alt, bro. Listen, Thunderfoot, I was joking about you earlier, bro. I was joking about you earlier. It was a joke about you, the whole thing about you wanting to fuck the Hyperloop or have the Hyperloop fuck you. It was a joke. I also don't want to stuff you in the Hyperloop. Okay, Electric Bill. It was just a joke, Thunderfoot. All right? Can we be friends now? Whatever, bro. I will say this. I am crazy. You should take everything I say with a grain of salt. What if it is Thunderfoot? Dude doesn't type like adult. May very well be homeboy. Dude, I may have fucking hit the nail on the head. You never know. You never know who's lurking in your chat. I've had interactions with Thunderfoot. Who knows? Maybe he's a fucking Highdeology lurker. And he's been waiting for me to talk about this forever. And I finally fucking mentioned his name and mentioned Elon Musk. And now I'm here like saying, like, as billionaires go, Elon Musk has done a couple things that are cool. And he's like, oh, maybe it's Elon. That would be like Elon Musk.
Reverse psychology shit.
Exactly. He's programming me by like making me argue for him.
Yeah.
By being the antagonist. Maybe it is Elon. Holy shit, man. You just fucking... You blew my mind with that one. I'm being reverse psychologied right now. He's Elon. You son of a bitch, you. Electric Bill. I should have known. $5D chess. That's like 72D chess right there. He's a billionaire that's in a tiny little live stream, gaslighting the poor bastard that's talking about him and talking more about him. He zero cooled me, yeah. Mess with the best, die like the rest, dude. He zero cooled me. He crash and burn to me, dude.
Notice he disappeared after you said that, so.
I am here. Thanks, Elon / Thunderfoot. Maybe Thunderfoot is Elon.
Yeah.
Thunderfoot created Elon in a lab.
Yeah.
And he's salty that he escaped and became a real thing. And so he's trying his fucking hardest to take him down. But he doesn't want to admit that he invented him in the first place. He unleashed Elon upon us. Get the pitchforks and the torches. To Thunderfoot's college we go. Elon Musk is Ultron. What the fuck? What have we done? The hubris of science, the hubris of man. We got a QAnon guy in the chat. You still queuing it up, bro? Dude, you know what, dude? I'm a QAnoner now. Now that I understand that it was just some stupid fucking internet meme social experiment started by an internet huckster and shit, I'm all about it, dude. I'm about... when's the next Q drop? Can a motherfucker read the next Q drop, please? And before YouTube bans you? I mean, come on. If YouTube bans me for joking about it, this platform has truly left me behind. I'll have to find somewhere else to do my streaming. Elon Musk Q. Yeah. All right, Gramdalf. Whatever you say, buddy.
What? Flat Earth isn't even remotely comparable. People literally thought the Earth was flat for thousands of years.
True.
It wasn't a meme.
Right. True. So much to keep up on. So much to keep up on. Including apparently getting profile pics.
Yeah.
Ryan Crawford, please get a profile pic. Thank you. We're going forward yet backwards at the same time. Oh man, that's deep. That's deep, man. You just wow. That's fucking deep, bro. Just kidding. It's not deep.
Oh yeah, Turtle Earth. My favorite.
Yeah, the Earth is a giant, is like a flat disc on the back of a giant turtle or whatever the fuck. The Earth has roots. It's like a tree with a flat thing that we all live on the top of. The cosmic turtle, yeah. Turtle. So stupid. I like to think we're going backwards yet forward. Oh my god, it's getting even deeper. Like the Hyperloop, yes. New wave of it started as a joke. Obviously, people thought it a long time ago, but most people knew the Earth was round 20 years ago, and then people brought the... Well, yeah, because the internet. Because of what I've talked about here, that whole philosophy daddy shit. Like that has led some people to following people who are either misinformed intentionally or just misinformed, and they end up believing some stupid fucking bullshit.
Oh yeah, of course people do it to feel special. They love being in like the minority that's right.
Right. Looking for a bike instead of an e-bike. Okay, well, cool. Best of luck with that shit. Ride carefully or whatnot. What would the point of hiding the truth be in the case of flat Earth? Are people making money off it? Otherwise, no point in hiding it if it were true. Yeah, I don't know. People just don't, like... For some people, it's like a religious thing because of the way that the Earth is described in, you know, Genesis or whatever the fuck, is having pillars or whatever the fuck, and we're resting on a flat surface upon the pillars of foundations of the Earth or whatever the fuck. And so some people probably have a religious tinged reason because they're biblical literalists. Some people are probably just memeing. Some people probably just want to feel smart on Facebook, and so they want to feel like they're into some secret truth that everybody else doesn't know about. And they're too dumb to actually fucking find something like that. So they stumble into the flat earth community. You know what I mean?
Would you say that, like, cults and conspiracies kind of have very similar draws to them?
Well, I mean, maybe. I think cults speak to something a little deeper in people.
Yeah.
A conspiracy? Now, some people take conspiracies to the level where it's almost cultish. Like the vigilant Christian Mario is a good example of somebody who was feeding what I consider to be a minor kind of digital cult of everything has symbology in it.
Everything's satanic.
Right. So this music video, he made this face, and if you fucking draw 666 on it, it fucking fits perfectly, and that means it's there. And like there were this whole group of people that believed this and donated to it, and yeah. So I think they can have crossover, so maybe they speak to that same kind of part, whatever, that religious aspect, that mystical fucking, what would you call it, like spiritual part of the human mind, wherever that comes from. But I think cults are way more pernicious about drawing in people who need to feel absolution in some way.
And belonging.
And the need, I mean, that whole need to belong drives the conspiracy community a lot too.
Yeah.
When everybody else disagrees with you, but you've got this small group of tight friends who all know the truth about Kanye West being a satanic puppet or whatever, you know, that feels good. But the difference is that there's multiple sources that you're getting that shit from. There's not one leader exploiting you.
Yeah.
That's how it gets different with a cult. A cult wants to tell you not only like, hey, look at this fucking symbology that you see in this Kanye West video. It's satanic. They want to tell you, here's how you fight it. Yeah. You have to listen to Mother. You have to listen to Father. You have to listen to Zeep Zorp or whatever the fuck. He'll show you the way. And that's when it becomes like more about therapy. People go there because they're lost. People go into Scientology. See, Scientology has this claim that they don't go after the mentally sick or infirm, but that's exactly who they prey upon. Broken people. People who have reached like the end of their fucking rope and don't have anywhere to go and fucking are desperate to be told by somebody that they're okay and that they can feel okay again. And they find Scientology and they get sucked into it that way.
And there's definitely a lot of broken people that are rich. Like, the whole tortured artist thing is very true.
Fucking A. And I mean, like, absolutely. I mean, money doesn't, you know, the Beatles sussed that out. Money don't buy you love, you know, or can't buy you love. Dude, the fucking truth is, and this is just there's a mental health crisis globally. We have created an insane society. And this is what I truly believe, and maybe I'm fucking wrong about this. I do not think that the breadth and expression of mental illness that we see today existed in the same like percentage of people in tribal communities in prehistory. I just do not fucking believe it. That's not saying that I don't believe that schizophrenia existed back then. It probably did. Nobody ever had depression. They probably did. I'm just saying the prevalence of it was probably so much lower per capita than it is today.
Or it just I think maybe inherently by the way those societies were structured, it kind of was a built-in management for it.
Sure.
Like there's a total difference between someone with managed depression and unmanaged depression.
Well, that's the thing, is like some of the things that they tell you to do to manage depression is go exercise. Exercise as a concept is only something that exists because our modern world has removed the need to do it.
Yeah, it's become an extra thing now.
Right. And so clearly the way that we live now has driven us all fucking mad, is what I'm saying. And I'm not saying everybody, like, I'm not trying to get in your mind and tell you as a person that you don't feel good. But I'm telling you, man, everybody I know is fucked up. Everybody. And that's no fucking disrespect to anybody that I know, but what the fuck is that? Do you hear that little weird bark?
It was like a...
Rawr. Everybody's fucked up. Human beings are fucked up. The way that we live has fucked us right up. Like, we are fucked up, guys. Dinor's inside. Don't worry about him.
Yeah, he got put inside timeout because he bolted after something. So.
Yep. So here's the thing, guys. It's unaddressed. And it's affecting everything. It affects how we're spoken to by corporations. It affects what we're willing to fucking accept from our government. The people in our government are suffering from it along with us. We're sick. And the disease is modern civilization and the modern economic structure that puts everybody on the fucking planet at the bottom and leaves us to fight for the scraps. We're fucked up on both ends of the spectrum. The Richies are fucked up. Look how they act. Look what they do.
Like, think of things that, you know, help manage anxiety, like fucking taking time for yourself. The way our society is structured, people don't have time for themselves.
Right. Meditating.
Yeah.
How do you spend the time to learn to fucking meditate? To do it enough times when you're fucking overcome with anxiety about if your next paycheck is going to cover everything this month. You know how many people live in that place? That's called hand to mouth living.
Yeah.
That means everything that you're fed basically gets eaten up by necessity. You know how many people live hand to mouth, not just in this country, globally?
Yeah, and even if you're not hand to mouth, you have to work so hard to stay stable that...
Right. Japan is a great example of this. Somebody brought up Japan. Japan fully embraced the American corporate culture and took it to a fucking extreme degree.
Yeah.
They took the American culture of work hard and they were like, we got to work fucking twice as hard.
Yeah.
And that will make us twice as good at business. And they did a generation or two or three of that. And now people are fucking killing themselves over there. Mm-hmm. That whole country is depressed. Yeah. It's an aging population. People can't even fucking meet and fuck anymore. Yeah. They're not interested in it. Mm-hmm. Young people are just not interested in fucking having children. Yeah. This is all civilization sickness. And we suffer from it. Every single one of us, whether we agree about it or not, whether you think it's true what I'm talking about or not, you're a victim of it. You're scarred by what you live in. And what you live in was not designed with a human eye in mind. You live in a corporate fucking hellscape. You live in a planned community that was informed by private interest and designed to keep you docile and designed to keep you productive so that you can get downtown quick and get to job. That's not how humans are supposed to fucking live. We did not evolve as a creature that drove on a fucking freeway every goddamn fucking day.
There was no clocking in for going fishing.
No. Our lives were not consumed by work as hunter-gatherers. Do you know that tribal people worked less than we do? Because they lived communally. Communist. Every person in the tribe had their part. And once your part was done for the day, guess what? You were done for the day.
You didn't do overtime to make extra scratch.
If you wanted to, you could. Like, if you had a fucking easy-ass job, you saw the hunters going, you felt like going hunting one day and helping out, you could.
But you weren't doing it for money
No.
to get something.
No. You did your part so that your society kept functioning and the environment around you kept providing food. And there were bursts of heavy work for the tribe where everybody was all hands on deck because you were moving for the winter or whatever the fuck. And you do it. And then everybody settles in and everybody goes right back to their job. I'm the camp fire tender. I make sure this fire stays lit. So all day I'm chopping wood, you know, I fucking bring the wood to the fire. Different, disabled, dead. I love this idea. There's actually vast examples of American Indian tribes specifically not doing that to their disabled. They were communally taken care of, which is better than we do for most people that are fucking sick and disabled in our own country. What have you done for a person that can't fucking speak and then needs to have their diaper changed every second because they don't have control of their body lately?
Like, they didn't ask.
News to you? Really? News to you? Inform your fucking self.
It's like the best we do for disabled people now is like there's some government benefits, but if you're really heavily disabled and you need round-the-clock care, that's expensive.
Wait a minute. What evidence do you have that fucking American Indians used to dash deformed children or disabled people against the rocks? Where'd you get that information? Why am I the one that's having to, like, if it's true, you got me there. Where'd you get that? Who told you that tribal people dash fucking deformed and disabled people against rocks and shit? They got that info from white people. Oh. The Spartans did. Yeah, I saw 300 too.
Yeah, but Rome was a civilization.
Yeah.
We're talking about pre-Rome shit.
Yeah, we're talking. Yeah, exactly.
Like,
hence the point.
Like, fucking Rome getting rid of disabled people was ultimately because they couldn't be productive. That's why disabled people are so misaligned, is because they're not productive.
Right.
Productivity is king in our society.
Exactly. And so they're forgotten. I love people that go like, oh man, fucking thank goodness we live in a society that isn't anarcho-primitive. Yeah, you mean a society where a whole fucking village helps to take care of you and keeps you comfortable and lets you work to your limited ability? Don't be a dipshit. Where did you get the information that tribal people dashed their fucking children against the rocks? Maybe you need to start questioning your assumptions about humanity and start looking at the fucking actual problem. Were you triggered by the idea that I was fucking talking about the root of the sickness being something you're defensive of? Because you like sitting in your computer chair and talking shit? Sorry. Henry Citation fucking needed. I know that it is in some cultures and has been in some fucking historical cultures. I'm talking about prehistorical fucking tribal peoples. So killing deformed children may be common across fucking civilizational cultures, and maybe that's something that we should address as a civilizational problem. Right. Women, there were like 72 different abortifactants that women used. So women used to have wide latitude over their reproductive rights in tribal societies. There's a list of like 72 natural abortifactants that were used by tribal women. I mean, all cultures have some regressive aspects to them, even Americans. There are still many admirable things we can learn from. Not only that, but I'm not talking about transporting ourselves back through time without lessons learned. When I talk anarcho-primitivism, or I talk a return to a more tribal, nomadic lifestyle and a smaller group of humans, which, by the way, is part of our future, whether you like it or not, that's part of our fucking future. The idea that we'll be exterminated to the last person is ridiculous. So the last few people will band together, and what kind of tribal society we live in, I think, is dependent on whether or not we live in the ability to learn from this fucking destructive thing that we've done. Paul asserted what? Stop arguing with each other. Stop arguing with each other in my chat. You argue with me when you're here. That's killing. Leaving them to starve is alleging that they killed them. That happened civilizationally in China due to civilizational rules on how many children you could have. It became very common for women to leave their babies by the side of the road. And that was that. So that they weren't caught being fucking having more children than they should. So what do you want to talk about then? What are we talking about here? Cruelty? Do you want me? Do you think I'm going to deny that cruelty existed in the ancient world? Because you're wrong. I won't. Now, will you deny that cruelty has fucking compounded in the modern world? Or are you going to defend that? I'll wait. Cruelty has been compounded by the systems that we put in place. Civilizational in nature. Our economy is civilizational in nature. You don't need an economy if you don't have a civilization. The economy is self-perpetuating. You pick what you need. You fish what you need. You don't poop where you eat. You move when it gets cold. That's not an economy. You need an economy for a civilization. So what has the economy done for people that suffer from horrible fucking tragic illness? Do we have the ability for people to choose to take the easy way out? Or let's say the dignified way out? Ancient people did. Do we have the ability for these people to have some meaningful fucking life? Ancient people did.
And it's like, people forget that, like, yeah, we can do a lot more things for people that are deformed and disabled, but it costs money.
Right. And that money isn't there. And so often these people are thrown into homes and thrown in a bed and forgotten about in some fucking cruel-ass facility somewhere.
It's like, you might have personal experience of, like, oh, this person beat the odds and got saved, but that costs money. It's like, think of how many people with these conditions just die in places where there isn't as much money.
Right.
Like, you think...
It was better for trans people in certain tribal societies in America than it is in certain Southern American cities now. Tribal American societies, there were 3 or 4 of them that I remember being listed as having a third gender. And a third gender identity that was accepted and had its own fucking existence within the tribe.
I think I remember like someone like being like, "What about diabetics in Anprim society?" It's like we're currently charging diabetics out the ass for insulin.
And let's not forget the fact that diabetes, that is like at least half of the fucking diabetic deaths in this fucking world, come from civilizational diabetes, which is the constant consumption of refined sugar and refined food and carbohydrates to the point where your body fucking fucks up. So if I got to account for everybody that died of fucking gestational diabetes or some shit back in the day, you got to account for everybody that dies of fucking type A now, or type B. Right? So civilization solved type A by creating type B? Are you fucking kidding me? That's your argument? That's what you're going to bring to me? It's actually just being overweight. Okay, which is caused by what? The consumption of mass calories, right? Which is caused by what? Living in a fucking society where you don't have to go hunt for elk meat if you want a slab of meat. You can just go down to fucking Jack in the Box and get 300 pounds of burger. And the inability to work off those calories through exercise, or the unwillingness to, which is caused by what? A modern sedentary lifestyle, which is founded and funded by what? Modern factory farming, which supports what? Civilization.
I don't know. Like, we're both saying we're guilty of this.
Anybody that's in the chat trying to say that, like, I'm trying to claim that I don't, like, the whole we live in a society yet I criticize the society thing. If anybody that's making that, just ban them, please. You see anybody making anything close to that in the chat? Well aware of these ideas. Electric bill. You're starting to get annoying. I'm just warning you.
Have complete thoughts.
Yeah, present a complete thought or don't present anything at all. Look at how obese Samoans are. That's entirely a function of Western diet. It is what it is. People don't want to talk about this. People get real, and this makes people just as uncomfortable as a lot of my other positions do, because I'm undermining something that people are very defensive of. What about diabetes? They act like they suddenly care about diabetes when you're talking about society being different before civilization. All of a sudden, they're the diabetes warrior. They give a fuck about diabetes. If you gave a fuck about diabetes, you'd blow up the nearest dam. You'd tear down civilization the best way you could. Because fucking type B diabetes has killed way more fucking people than traditional gestational fucking whatever inherited type A diabetes.
I mean, yeah, trans people could get HRT, but would the gender dysphoria be as strong without these gender roles that consumerism has pushed upon us? Like, would it be as important if we didn't have all these ads?
The whole idea of the stoic wife stays at home and has to be feminine, man goes to work and has to be masculine, there are 2 genders and that's it, is a civilizational idea. Trans people, there's wide fucking evidence that trans people had functional existence in primitive societies, pre-civilizational societies.
Yeah, like there's no fucking media telling you what to wear when you're just in this small tribe, or how to look or whatever.
You learn that from the tribe.
Yeah.
Which might hurt you as an individual to think about, but your individualism was expressed within the range of your tribe. Because and it was expressed by what you had access to, which was feathers and beads and shells and this type of thing. We existed in native societies and the world over until Christianity took exception to trans folks' existence. I mean, I don't know about that. I don't think that's how Christianity started its march.
What?
Don't make nonsense posts in my chat. This chat is 18 plus. If you want to engage in conversation with me, make it a full fucking thought. Don't post things like testosterone, helva drug in my chat. This is not a place to be fucking so drunk and stupid that you can't type. This is not a Twitch chat. This is an 18 plus environment and we're having an adult conversation. And if you don't conduct yourself like a motherfucking adult, you're gone. Thank you. What do you think causes gender dysphoria? Any guesses? The rigidness of gender identity and gender roles in modern civilization causes gender dysphoria. 100%. Looking at yourself in the mirror and knowing all of the expectation and drive in you should be towards wearing dresses and playing with dolls. And your body is that. But you see yourself, you want to look in the mirror and see yourself as not having that. Because you want to identify with the other false binary. That's 100% what's behind gender dysphoria, in my opinion. The institution of a false gender binary by civilization. Right.
It's like, it doesn't matter as much if you have male pattern hair, if you don't have all these ads saying women don't have hair.
Right. If you weren't steeped in a culture where every woman that you see has beautiful hair and beautiful lipstick and a perfectly smooth face and perfectly long legs, and they're all shaved and they're wearing 9-inch stilettos. If that wasn't your concept of femininity, gender dysphoria wouldn't be a problem. Those rigid gender roles were not imposed by God or any other being. They were imposed by civilization, and they've been around since civilization. Women have had to look a certain fucking way in almost every civilization we can track.
As soon as, like, sales became a thing, like, once you could have enough excess to where people can sell fucking beauty products or whatever the fuck.
Yep.
Where you have access to fucking...
And some of that is positive expression of femininity.
Yeah.
Women taking what's around them and expressing that femininity. But the idea that you have to be that to be a woman is reinforced by culture.
Like, you had that Dangerous Beauty episode. That was a Patreon episode where, like, people were literally, like, going through x-rays and getting cancer to get hair off their legs.
Right.
And faces and shit.
Right. You were steeped in a culture. This is woman. And what you were presented with was an almost unattainable, and it's worse now than it was when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. An almost unattainable standard of beauty. And now little girls are scrolling through fucking Instagram and TikTok and looking at women that are heavily filtered, perfectly fucking make-upped, perfectly proportioned and shit, and going like, that's what I have to be. And that has been true of little girls since time immemorial. Immemorial. Same thing goes for little boys. We are slammed in the face all the time of what the ideal of masculinity is. You keep your hair cut. You keep your beard trimmed. You wear polo shirts and you tuck your shirt in. You get a nice belt. You drive this type of car.
Men
You
don't
use
paint
this
nails, men.
right. You don't have your nails painted. You want to put on a little eyeshadow. You're a faggot. What do you think that does? Right? These gender roles being so rigidly enforced by our culture is what creates the space in which gender dysphoria has to exist, because we're being presented with a cultural false binary. This is what a man is. This is what a woman is. If you don't look like this, you're not a man. If you don't act like this, you're not a man. If you don't use this speech pattern, you're not a man. You don't have this level of... there are men who are born with like vocal cord deformities who have really high voices, who are made fun of their whole fucking lives. If you cry as a man, you're weak as fuck. Men don't cry. What do you think that does?
So, like, the transition in these tribal societies is way simpler. Because
Right.
There's way less expectation on what a woman should be.
Who even knows if transition would be something people would seek if there wasn't this falsely gender binary? Who knows that people wouldn't just be content to be feminine and not have to worry about what gender role they are?
Yeah.
I think that the whole idea of people having that level of dysphoria is something that's reinforced by fucking civilization and culture. And this idea that this is what a woman is. This is what a man is. This is how they act. This is what they do.
It's like you see the lengths of what transition is now, like the HRT, the sexual reassignment, the fucking hair removal, the fucking...
It's all to conform to an
Surgery.
almost unattainable standard of beauty that we have been falsely sold. This is what makes somebody feminine. And in order to be feminine, in order to be a woman, you must look, act, and conform to these standards. If you look any different than that, you're not a woman. You're...
That's another, just an increase of despair.
Right. Right. Deaths of despair in the trans community are huge because of this. Because people can't afford their surgery, they can't afford their HRT and laser hair removal stuff, and they look in the mirror and they don't see a woman.
Or even if they can, they have some fucking physical feature that they feel
Right.
like will never fit in no matter
Right.
what they do. Like, I think, I know no one likes Blair White, but the whole, like, her describing everything she's had, like, fucking, she thought her chin looked too masculine.
She's had her chin shaved, her cheekbones worked on, her nose worked on, and anything that on her that she thought looked masculine, she shaved it off with plastic surgery.
Plumped it or whatever the fuck.
And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Good on her for doing whatever she wants to do. But
the depth of the fucking dysphoria, where it seems like you have to just pile on solutions for some trans people. Not every trans person feels like they have to do all that, but she's an example of someone that feels like that's what she has to do. She's on, if it's a sliding spectrum, she's on a very extreme end of the spectrum when it comes to the amount of transition that she's going to do and the amount of surgery and extra, I can look at my face and see femininity, but I can't help but see my height and weight distribution. It's hard, right? And that's all part of this. Once again, women aren't tall. Women aren't strong. Women aren't this. Men are that. Women are small and petite and hourglass shaped. That's all they are. And that's just not even true amongst biological, when we're talking about sex, women. Yeah, it's like I've known dudes that are fucking shorter than me, and fucking girls that are way taller. It's like
Right.
there's fucking
The first girl I dated that I was in my first like long-term relationship with was 2 inches shorter than me at 6'1". Not feminine, not this, right? It's like, right. But that's it. And if you want to know the root of it, it's this. It's the way we've all decided to live, and this thing we're all so defensive of because it brings so much comfort. But what it has brought is misery for a lot of fucking people disguised as comfort. Because we're wasting our lives away doing shit we don't fucking want to do. And that's not what human beings evolved to be. There are biological distinctions. We're not talking about sex. We're talking about gender.
yeah.
So I will give you the explanation. Sex. Sex is a biological determination. It means what kind of secondary sexual characteristics you have. These are penis, testes, vagina, breasts. Okay? That is sex. Gender is how you feel you express your sex. So that can come in every flavor of the rainbow. There are people that are born biologically male who grow up watching little girls play with dolls and dress up and long for it and then do it when they become adults or hide it or closet it, right? And the same thing exists with little girls. There are little girls who grow up surrounded by pink and frills, and every time their mom makes them put on a dress, they feel fucking gross in it, and they don't want to be in it. And then there are people in the middle of that who sometimes feel like expressing themselves more masculine, sometimes feel like expressing more feminine, and sometimes feel like blending the two because they don't feel like they really fit into that role. Gender is a role that has been imposed upon us by society and is completely separate from functional biological sex, okay?
Like, this isn't hating on anyone that wants to go full Monty on transition. It's just
No.
that that's part of the pressure for, and part of the despair for some trans people is the standards.
Is the inability to do that. Blair White is rich.
Yeah.
She can do it. A lot of people will go through whatever transition they can afford, which is maybe like HRT. But they will still have some characteristic that they look at and they think is mannish. Or they think is too masculine. They have too much hair here, or they have too much of a deep voice there. Or there's always something. And a lot of trans people just functionally cannot afford to go in and have their jawline shaved and their cheekbones replaced and ass implants and whatever else comes with it, right? But the idea that they have to do that to be feminine is something that civilization has imposed upon us in the form of rigid gender roles. Do you think gender roles are even somewhat rooted in biological proclivities related to sex? Yes.
I mean, yeah.
Absolutely.
Like, society focuses on amplifying the minor differences.
That's the problem, though.
Yeah.
In a functional tribal society, a woman was a woman, a man was a man, and the third gender was a third gender, and that was that. It wasn't something that people puzzled about, and it wasn't something that people beat themselves up about, right? And they were functional gender roles. These were roles where women took an active expression in keeping the fucking camp and making sure that the children got raised and making sure that everybody got fed and making sure that this got done and that got done, while the men went out and risked themselves in the hunt because they were faster and taller This sometimes was not the case. We covered in our Clits of Steel episode Buffalo Road Calf Woman, or Buffalo Calf Road Woman. So sometimes in tribal societies, women would come along who wanted to walk what was called the warrior's path, and they did so. And so they were not relegated to the same gender roles as women in the camp. They were forced to prove themselves in order to fucking sit in the saddle next to the men that did it, but there was an option for them. I don't want to be perceived as the camp tender. I want to sit a horse. I want to grab a bow. And this was allowable.
And those transitions in gender roles didn't require any fucking manipulation of how they looked.
Nope. What's the topic? Gender identity, gender roles, civilization. There's a lot. You might want to rewind, Najosa. What's the topic to me, bro? You're a fucking wrench. But them being a warrior didn't make them not a woman, though, right? That's just who they are. But that's the whole idea, right? If it's just a societal role, wouldn't that make them a man? It put them on par with men. It put them in the same social class as men. Women that were warriors in Native American tribes did what men did. They rode into battle on horses with men. So functionally, they were treated as what they wanted to be treated as. They did not have to change their look. There's a reason there's no stories from ancient Native America about horribly misogynistic and misandrous people using gender as a battering ram. Right. Because it just wasn't that way. It wasn't used that way. The level of sadness in us is hard to see. It's hard for us to face. And I don't mean to fucking be a Debbie Downer about this. I'm just being honest about what I've seen in people. People are hurting. And I think that the culprit is all of the fucking things that we're talking about here tonight. All of the fucking expectations that are put on you by a modern life that your brain and body never evolved to exist in. Your brain and body are functionally no different than a fucking person in prehistory. Human beings have not changed. No, you didn't hit a nerve, Najosa. You just asked a dumb question. Like, people don't come in and go, like, what's the topic? Just rewind and find it out.
Or be quiet until you can ascertain the topic for yourself.
Right. It's just like fucking like pause everything you're doing and give me an update on what the topic is. Or let's turn the chat away from actually functionally contributing to the topic so that 15 people can update me. It's just a bad news bears. That question would have gotten you timed out. Yeah, it would have. Look at places ruled by men today, ruled by women, and both. It's telling. What? I can't suss that one out. Sorry, buddy. Men and women in Aztec culture will both entirely, right. But the idea was different. And there were things in prehistory that don't have to be that way going forward. I'm not trying to worship and provide the noble savage narrative to you. There were things in Indian society that were not good. There were murders and rapes and encouraged kidnappings and taking of people from one place and forcing them into labor at other places. All of these things existed in tribal society. It was incredibly violent. Could be incredibly violent at times. So I'm not trying to whitewash prehistorical societies. Human sacrifice. If you're talking about Aztecs, Incas, Toltecs, Olmecs.
But even then, that's more on the civilization side than the tribal.
On the way towards it.
Yeah.
But you get the drift. These are prehistorical societies. So these are societies that were just trying their legs at this shit, and this was expressed widely within this society. It was completely normalized, right? So I'm not advocating we go back to that. I'm advocating maybe we sally forward towards something that's a blend of what we know now and that. We stop obsessing about the ideas of masculinity and femininity. There's no need for it in modern society anymore. If ever there was a need for mommy to be home and barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen, covered in kids, and daddy to be at work in business tie, it's over now. Our society doesn't even allow it anymore, basically. Both people have to work now. So let's get over this fucking idea. Let's shed this fucking idea. This leave it to beaver idea. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Home from work, honey. Dinner's in the oven, Pop. Why don't you kick your feet up and I'll get you a cigar? Well, gee, honey, that'd be great. That may have provided a function at some point in our civilizational history, but that function is over now. Seem to recall a story from a Native American tribesman about wanting to eat a white man's corpse. It was interesting. I don't know if it was a Native American tribesman. I think I know what you're talking about. And I think it was a study of a cannibalistic South American tribe.
Yeah. No, yeah, I know what you're talking about too. I don't think it was Native American.
But I may be wrong. Like I said, I'm not here to be a fucking advocate for the ancient way of doing things. I'm here to point out the difference between the expectations that civilization put on us with the false gender binary roles that we're all forced into. TJ was talking about this the other day too, how he feels like he was never able to explore his gender because he presented so big and so obviously masculine, right? That he felt like he was never, as a child or as a man or as a person or whatever he feels he is, able to explore his gender. The reason for that is because we live in a society where big, hulking dudes are masculine. And that's what masculinity is. I don't know. Johnny. See, I'm all over the fucking map when it comes to my preferences. My preferences in male presenting people are more narrow, but when it comes to women, I'm all over the fucking map. Short, tall, big, thin, different proportions, different what would be considered civilizationally layers of femininity and masculinity. For me, there's never been, like, there's no trackable, other than that I typically go for brunettes. There's really nothing trackable in my dating history. And that's only typically. Actually, I might as well ask, how does it feel? How does what feel? I never struggled with identity, so I don't even know how that might feel. I don't struggle with my identity. Well, I mean, the struggle that I had with my identity came from being a closeted bisexual kid. It never came in the form that I'm talking about here. It never came in the form of gender expression. I never really had a problem presenting as masculine. I never really saw myself as a feminine presence, and so I wasn't forced faced with this problem of looking at my body and feeling like it had to be something else, or looking at my role and feeling like I wished that I could be doing something else. I never faced that. What I faced was growing up in a time where we really hadn't quite learned that homosexuality was normal, and its expression in my sexuality was very secret for me. And so what I experienced was growing up in a society that hated gay people and having these feelings my whole life from a very young age, all the way through my adulthood. I didn't come out of the closet, so to speak, until I was 38 years old publicly, and I still haven't had a conversation with my parents about it, and I don't think I ever will. It's out there if they want to know it. So that's tied in a way, right? Sexual proclivity is monitored. My mom does know, I think. It's just we've never had a conversation about it. I don't talk about my sexuality, right? I mean, I don't really either, as a rule. It's not something that typically comes up in like conversation or whatever with me. But if it does, you know, like it would come up a lot of times in like context when I was on the Drunken Peasants, where it's like, and that show really did, like, it's kind of funny. That show really did make me help to feel more normalized, because I was able to meme about Jude Law, right? Because there were certain people, TJ was one of them, who picked up on my bisexuality before it was ever even fucking public, right? And, you know, he wasn't the only person reading it in me. And so I was able to go on that show and meme, in a way, about being attracted to Jude Law, and have that be like, oh yeah, this is just me being, you know, confident in my sexuality. But it actually let me dip my toe in being honest about how I felt, and I felt better to do that than it did to pretend that I was not attracted to dudes when it came up. Dude, I'll never forget the way TJ laughed when I told him I was bi. It wasn't even a mean laugh. It was like, it was that TJ, like, you probably have never heard it, because most of you have never had a conversation with TJ, but TJ has this like self back pat chuckle. It's like this self, it's like he's giving himself like a, it's like a, you know what I mean? I don't know how to put it better than that. It was like the, you know what I mean? It was his way of saying like no shit without saying no shit, you know? Oh, he knew. He knew from a long fucking time ago. He told me that. He was like, Paul, he was like, look, he's like, we talked about it. It wasn't a long talk that we had. It was over the course of a drive from my place to his place. He'd come to pick me up. I think this was during the breakup. It was right around that time when I came out. And I hadn't told him, and I hadn't been public with it yet. And he was telling me in the car, he was like, bro, he's like, no straight dude goes around fucking kissing dudes. No straight dude really honestly fucking lusts after Jude Law like you do. He's like, there's a difference, bro. He's like, if you were memeing about your lust for Jude Law, you wouldn't be able to be so fucking descriptive about it. He's like, I've known since like way back when. I asked him like, when did you know? Like how long ago in our fucking friend history did you know? And he was like, the lemon tree. I was like, fuck. So when you met me, basically. But then he explained to me how the bi closet is a weird thing. Cricket, you can't come out here. He's in there like, please. Is the lemon tree code for something? Kind of between TJ and I. Yeah, the lemon tree is a proof of life between TJ and I. Sounds ominous, the lemon tree. Is it possible to be sexually attracted to men but not romantically attracted? That's how I feel. Sure. It's everything. It's all possible. Like, what do you mean, is it possible? If that's how you feel, it's clearly possible, and I think you'll find you're not alone. I've never relished the actual idea of living with another man sexually. So I might fit in that pocket myself. Right. That's just called being a romantic, well, whatever, a romantic attraction, possibly. Right. However you feel is what's possible. There's a whole fucking expression of sexual preference and sexual identity that you land somewhere on the scale of, dude. I don't know where you're at. Oh yeah, I remember TJ going like, you straight up told people on your thing that you took the Kinsey test and you got a 2. He was like, that's basically you coming out back then. I was like, yeah, I guess. When I saw you singing Hey Jude and kissing a headshot of Jude Law, yeah. More than incidentally homosexual, yes. That means that, you know, I'm not just a dude that fooled around with it once. I'm a dude that has fooled around with it multiple times and would fool around with it multiple times in his life. More than incidentally homosexual. Is that a bat? Or is that like a screech owl? Is that like a bat or a screech owl? It could have been a barn owl or a screech owl, yeah. El chupacabra. El chupacabra. Están aquí. El chupacabra.
Go in there to get some company so he's not sad. And then all he does is go to the door and go, wah.
I want to go outside.
I don't want you, Mom. I want outside. I don't care if you're outside or not. I want outside.
Cricket. The bunker is haunted, maybe, yeah. Don't leave me in here with the ghosts.
You think he'll ever learn?
he goes through phases with it though.
Yeah.
Like there are whole days where he's just like, oh, whatever, bro. And then some days he's like, fuck, I want out there. God damn it. Who knows?
I just want to tell him to his little cute face, like, I want to keep you safe.
Well, there would be ways for us to fucking effectively keep him, give him a way to come out here. Like we could hook up a doggy door that has a tunnel. When he walks out, at the end of the tunnel, there's a pin. And it's out on the grass. And he can fucking...
Yeah, the cats get out of those sometimes.
Well, I mean, we would be with him when we let him do it. So when he got like this, if we wanted to let him out, we could let him out.
Yeah.
There are ways we could be totally fine having Cricket outside. He may not like being confined to a little pen or whatever, but hey, you got to take what you can get, boy.
Yeah, he's already won the side room, so.
Yep. He's such a big old easy boy to pick up and carry that it's like we could just pull him out of that fucking thing and take him in on our own. Just carry him out here and be like, all right, you want to go out? Put him in the pen. Let him roam around and chase bugs in it. And then when he's done, fucking... But, yeah, do I think he'll ever, like, not want to go out and hunt bugs out here or whatever the fuck it is he's got in his mind? No. No, he probably won't. I mean, think about it, like, dude kind of, like, bumped up in, like, the wildlife that he was exposed to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We had that little patch of stuff behind, and he used to like looking out at that, looking out at the stuff out in the parking lot and all that. And then now he's got like this whole 360 degree, like his whole concept of like reality has expanded, you know? He's like, whoa, I've got a whole fucking plot of land out here.
Yeah, he also saw a lot of the country too.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, from a bag, from a sack. Poor undignified way we had to roll with Cricket, but that's the way it is. You can't have a cat.
That expanded his worldview even more, so it just made him more and more incorrigible.
Letting him go outside and explore once may inspire him to start being clever when he's feeling froggy. In other words, trying to escape. Well, my whole hope is to eventually own a piece of property, either the one I'm on or like the one I'm on, that I can put a big, tall privacy fence around that's got 3-foot posts, pay a bunch of fucking money out the ass for it. But at the end, I've got a backyard that, unless somebody's dumb and didn't close the one gate out, is impenetrable. And then Cricket can fucking roam out there. He can, like, of course, I probably wouldn't just like throw him out by himself, but if he wanted to come out with us, what's he like? It's like my mom with Lucy, you know what I mean?
Like, she's got a situation where Lucy's not really gonna go anywhere with it.
Right. She's got a more enclosed backyard, and Lucy likes to go out there and lay in the fucking yard, and so she lets her. Ricky's allowed, but he just won't do it. Every once in a blue moon, he wants to go fucking get a wild hair up his ass and do it. The Cricket can't really do that right now. The closest he's got is that side room, which helped him for a while, but I think that only just like, because it's all wall-to-wall windows on the outside world. So it just like underlined for him, I'm trapped in a box!
There's no solution.
No.
Ultimately.
Well, not immediately.
Yeah.
There is a solution eventually. Which is, we get a yard and we either enclose part of it that we let Cricket go in a way that we're confident he's not going to get out of, or we enclose the whole fucking thing to the point where we know that we go check the gate, make sure it's closed, Cricket come out, go free, go buddy, go hunt, have a good time. We know there's no...
And I'm sure there's probably some people that are like, why are you freaking out about it? I let my cat be indoor, outdoor all the time. It's because Cricket's like 3 years old and he's never been out before.
Yeah. And we live in a place where I literally saw a giant coyote the other day. Get real. Dinor chased the biggest squirrel I've ever seen, and when I went to go get Dinor, I caught him having a showdown with a coyote in the middle of the street that was the biggest fucking coyote. It looked like a gargoyle. It was like... got up on the fucking thing. It was all curled up and shit, all feline-like, and I was like... I live in a zoo. Get out, Dino, come on. Get out of here.
Like, at least Dinor is mostly, like, not curious.
He's fearless, though, with other animals, and that's scary.
Yeah.
Because if a fucking coyote did come in here, he'd... and a coyote might just fucking attack him.
Yeah.
Or...
we trust Dinor out here way more than Cricket, because he's not going to be like, oh, what's over on the road? Let me check out the road randomly.
Right. Cricket would be like, oh yeah, let me go right underneath our fence right here.
Yeah.
There's a people gate that keeps people out of it, and he keeps Dinor in, but Cricket would have his little ass under that in a second, and then he'd be out in the street, and then what? You know, Dinor doesn't want to get out of here. Dinor just wants to run around here and police it, that's its own fucking problem.
Are you bringing up shock collars? That's not...
I don't know. He's already made friends with the most dangerous animal. That's true. He's already friends with a human. A cat could definitely jump a 3-foot fence. Yeah, I'm not going to put up a 3-foot fence, bro.
You said 3-foot post earlier. I think that's what...
No, I meant sunk 3 feet underground.
Yeah, and that's what that comment came from.
So you don't understand what I'm talking about. I want the fence to be 3 feet underground, and then probably a good 8 feet tall around my property. And I want that all around, so that nobody can...
Or at least a part of it that is closed.
Right, the enclosed part of the backyard or whatever the fuck. Yeah, close it off with a fence. A 3-foot privacy fence, yeah. No, I mean, I want it sunk low so that nothing can dig under it, so that nothing can go over it. I mean, within reason, some things will be able to... But I'll be able to know with relative certainty, with a look around my yard, that there's no fucking thing prowling around in it. And I can be safe with my animals. 3-foot privacy fence for Vern Troyer, yeah. It would work for him. Yep, tall, sturdy, well-built, expensive fence is what I want to get. So that I can know that my animals are safe back here. And so that I could unlock the ability to get other animals. Get some chickens, get some goats.
I guess we should try to attempt to introduce Dinor to a chicken before we consider that.
I mean, the way something is introduced to Dinor makes all the difference.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, we took Dinor over and we introduced him to Marley. And he saw somebody petting Marley, and then he saw us pet Marley, and he understood, oh, she's a pet dog.
Yeah.
And so he was not aggressive with her from the start. Yeah. With Cricket, we brought Cricket out very deliberately, and we was like, this is Cricket. He'd been around kitties before. Cricket was the one that had the bigger problem with Dinor. He was a hissy-pissy boy for a while. But, you know, like, it's all in how you do it.
Yeah.
Like, so if we introduce Dinor to a chicken for the first time as like, look, it's a baby. He won't be like, rah, 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 rah.
Yeah. But if he just sees it,
he would chase
around.
it, right? But if we, you know, acclimated him to the idea, he would stop getting all fucking worked up about it, and he would just accept that they're out there.
Yeah. My mom's dog wasn't bad with the chickens, because I told you about my mom's chicken story, right? that the teacher...
The class project turned into your mom owning 2 chickens, yeah.
Let's just dump these chicks on whatever kid raises their hand and says they want them.
Yeah, great idea. Send them home.
Because, yeah, of course a fucking 8-year-old is going to say they want a chicken.
Yeah, what a dumb fucking idea. All right, well, we got to get rid of these chicks. Who wants them? Your little sisters are like, we'll take them. And then your mom now has 2 fucking chickens.
Not anymore.
Right.
It was an ordeal for a year.
I bet. As soon as you see that chicken run, the predator instincts kick in. No, that's not the way it works. See, Dinor is... I'm trying to explain Dinor's nature to you. So, early on when he was a puppy, my ex Ashley had a lot of stuffed animals. And Dinor loves stuffed animals and pulling the stuffing out of them. And so we knew that we had to instill in him a difference. The idea of a difference. Your toy, not your toy. Your toy, not your toy. And he got it. He picked up on it as a puppy really quickly that he wasn't supposed to touch mom's stuff. He wasn't supposed to grab it. He could lay up against it, but like he wasn't supposed to use it like a toy because he had his own toy. His Dinor. That was his first toy, was a purple dinosaur that he loved. So we would tell him, go get your Dinor. And so he learned very early the difference between right and wrong as it was presented, right? And so that same philosophy goes into introducing him to an animal. He's like, the reason he chases these animals that come into the yard is because they're coming up behind me and her. And he's out here going like, because he doesn't know them. We've never grabbed the feral cat that lives back here somewhere and been like, this is kitty woman, and let him give a sniff and shown that we're petting it. So he thinks it might be out to hurt us. And so he goes after it. Like that engages his prey drive. So if we bring him a chicken and we're like, Dinor, it's a chicken. It's okay. He might at first be like, brr, 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 brr. But after seeing him out there for a while, he's fine. Same thing for anything we got. Yeah. If we ended up getting a fucking cappy or 2 or 3, it would be all about not the cat worrying about the cappy, because the cappy ain't gonna care. It'd be all about being like, look, it's a baby. Yes. He just like you. Pet him, pet the cappy, pet him, pet the cappy. Dinor's fine. He gets it. Dad's cool with this animal. I'm going to have to figure out a way to be cool with this animal. And he's so tolerant, too. He's such a good boy. When he lived in that house with all the other big animals in it, and they were so dominant with him, he was always such a good boy about not getting too out of sorts when they played with him rough and shit. He would just go find a place to be that wasn't with them when they got out of sorts. But then when he felt like playing, he would play with them. He was a good boy. He knows how to do it.
He's also not like an all-out hunting dog like Scotty's dog that's murdered all those chickens.
Well, see, Dinor has the whole chase drive, but he doesn't have any kill drive at all.
Yeah.
So once he gets to the animal, he looks at it.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, I've watched him do it. Like, he gets to the cat, and, like, if the cat runs, he'll chase it all the way out of the yard and then be all like, yeah, bitch. But if the cat turns around and is like, he's like, and he just looks at it. He doesn't have the drive to, like, you know, like, go after it or attack it in any way. He just doesn't have that.
He wants to confront.
Right. He's just like, you're supposed to run when I come after you because I'm big and mean. And the cat's like, I'm not going to run anymore. And he's like, his brain short circuits. He doesn't have that next level. Like, Yujiro would just be like, oh, you're not going to run? You know what I mean? Like, you're dead then, bitch. Dinor's just a sentient stuffed animal. Yeah, basically. Oh, Dinor. Oh, Dirty D.
Wasn't it John Luke killing the chickens, not Yujiro?
Yeah, but Yujiro has also killed
Oh,
chickens.
yeah.
Yes.
Couple chicken
Yujiro has
murdering
killed other
fools.
things too. Yujiro's a fucking murderer. Like like once again, if you show him that Dinor is a dog, he's not gonna. But if like Dinor jumps in his backyard and Yujiro is like off the leash and nobody's looking, and he corners that fucking little dog, that dog's dead. Jean-Luc is less likely to kill a dog, but he is chicken. That motherfucker is chicken in the morning, chicken in the evening, chicken. Like his whole existence is centered around hunting that bird now because he knows it exists. It's right over there. I gotta find a way to get to that fucking chicken. Wherever Scotty ends up moving to, I guarantee you he's gonna be like, no fucking chickens. He'll find a place where nobody around him owns a goddamn chicken, I guarantee you. Scotty is 100%. I will tell you something about Scotty. I usually don't speak for Scotty. Scotty's 100% done taking chickens to the fucking vet. He'll do it again if he has to, but as soon as Scotty can get out from under that, he's going to be happy to do it. I feel comfortable speaking for Scotty in that instance.
But yeah, I mean, like, Cricket sometimes does that too. Like, someone said that, like, his cat, like, chases bugs but then doesn't do anything to them. Like, Cricket will attack some bugs, but some bugs he'll just kind of be like...
Yeah. He likes a certain amount of interaction with the bugs.
Yeah. He doesn't always kill them all the way. Sometimes he'll eat them, sometimes he'll leave them.
I think the flying ones are the ones that drive him fucking most insane.
Yeah.
Flying insects, like little ground insects and shit, like he'll play with those and maybe he'll eat it, but like if he catches a fucking mosquito hawk or something, that's lunch. Yeah. He's eating that whole fucking thing, legs and all.
One bite.
Down the hatch. Animals are weird, man. Their whole little mental process is so very strange, but funny to me. Like when you look at Jean-Luc, you can see the chicken lust in his eyes. You can tell that like chickens run through his dreams. I bet when he has those like puppy dreams, he's always chasing chickens. That motherfucker is chicken crazy.
Or what if there was a different solution and they just introduced chickens to him like they were friends?
I don't even think at this point.
It's not possible.
No, I think he would go ape shit and try and kill the chicken as soon as he could. I think he might like be good like while they were like, look, don't. And then as soon as they released the chicken and him in the backyard, it would be like, there'd be a murder scene. I don't know though. I mean, I'm sure you could train like Jean-Luc to be, but I don't know how the fuck you'd go about doing it. Yeah. Can't blame him. Chickens are pretty tasty. Yeah. I mean, he doesn't even like eating them. He just wants to kill them. He doesn't eat them. Like it would be one thing if he would like jump the fence and steal a chicken and they'd catch him like eating a chicken corpse. He just wants to murder them all.
Yeah, like we said that Scotty was bringing him to the vet. If Jean-Luc was trying to eat the chickens, there wouldn't be any chicken left to go to the vet.
Exactly. Jean-Luc, like, when he does escape, he goes and he eats the chicken, but he just bites it. And then when it falls over on the ground, he goes to the next one. And then sometimes the chicken's like, like then Scotty has to take it to the vet. And then they fix the chicken up. Every once in a while, one of them doesn't make it, you know. He just, he goes kill crazy. That rooster heard me. It's like, fuck that dog.
Rooster, you will never meet Jean-Luc. It's okay.
Yeah, don't worry about it, bro. He ain't coming for you. I don't don't know, dude. Jean-Luc may come over here for a visit one day. You never know.
I guess.
Here's that fucking chicken off in the distance. He's gone. He's over whatever fence we got. I don't care if it's a 12-foot fence. He's over that motherfucker. I don't care if I got like a Brando compound. He's over it. He's getting that chicken. Ideal chickens, yeah. We've talked about getting chickens too, so it might be our fucking chickens that he comes and gets.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, the most recent caper of cricket tearing into a whole bag of treats and eating all of them.
This motherfucker. We were treating Dinor. I'm trying to teach Dinor to play dead. And so what I'm doing is he already does this show me your belly thing. And so I'm doing show me your belly. Show me your belly, because he's very hand signal happy. And he's starting to, I was training him a little bit with it, and I'd give him a treat when he would finally do it. He's starting to get it. And then Amelia was like, you know what, Cricket? I'm going to get you a treat too, so you're not jealous. Because Cricket was just sitting up there on his cat tree like. And so she went to go where his treats were. And the whole bottom of the bag was ripped out, and every fucking treat was gone. And it wasn't like Dinor size bite. It was definitely Cricket. Dude, I know a Cricket job when I see one immediately.
Yeah.
He has a signature. You know what I mean? Once you've seen a Cricket job, you don't even suspect the other animal.
Yeah.
You're like, this 100% has Cricket all over it.
Yeah.
This has his signature. Dude, this is modus operandi right here. But we were pretty stunned, dude. Whole bag of treats.
Because he's like torn into other bags of treats before. Like there'll be some tooth marks and there'll be a hole where he snuck a couple out. But this was just.
He waited until we were asleep.
Yeah.
And sat there all night and like whittled it down with his teeth. Yeah. Until he was able to get his fucking face in there. And then he ate the whole bag. You reckon chickens have sentience? Some kind of chicken sentience, maybe. I mean, from what I understand, scientists have said that chickens have very low, level brain functionality. So they probably don't have a whole lot of sentience, but they're probably, aware of some kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm sure if you own a chicken, it recognizes you.
Sure.
I think Lord of Duck has his chickens and he's trained them to do some things.
Well, scientists have shown that you can have chickens do things for rewards that they normally wouldn't do. And so chickens have some level of adaptability to their environment, but I don't know that means that they have sentience. I don't think chickens are like, the end of the world is coming. I don't really think that's, to me, that's sentience. Sentience is existentialism, being able to have an existential thought. And I think the gray parrot is the only animal that's ever expressed an existential thought. There was a gray parrot that asked, why am I gray? Which is doesn't sound all that mind-blowing, but it really is. It's an animal going what the fuck am I? Why am I the way I am? And that means that he's wondering about the fucking universe.
There's probably some level of wonder in cats and dogs a little bit.
Sure. They just experience it differently than we do. I fundamentally, it's experienced as a more natural thing.
Yeah. There's a wonder of why am I going here? Why can't I do this? Probably, but...
Yeah. The way humans experience wonder, I remember it's talked about by Thomas Ligotti. He talks about it. He says, the world looks almost too beautiful. Mm-hmm. He's it's like the world is almost too beautiful. And our mind, the way that we experience it is too spiritual and too existential that we get these expectations from it that can never be fulfilled. It's the root of pessimism. We experience such beauty in the world. You can look at the world and see so much color and texture. And it's almost he's talking about philosophers that think that that is the schism that created what we call consciousness.
Yeah.
Is how vividly we experience everything.
Our pattern-seeking ability.
Yep.
That's definitely the biggest thing about human intelligence is pattern-seeking.
Mm-hmm. Gets us in a lot of trouble, too. Because oftentimes we see patterns and find patterns where there are none, especially in a modern civilization. That's the root of all this, you know, kind of like conspiracy theory stuff, you know. There's a great movie about this that we'll watch together one of these days called Pi. I think it's a Darren Aronofsky film. And fantastic fucking movie. About a guy that has a brilliant mind that becomes obsessed with finding a pattern that doesn't exist. And he's drawn further into this like paranoid fantasy that involves this Jewish numerology conspiracy, which is actually real. Have you ever seen Jewish leaders using the cube?
No.
There's like a cube that they'll strap around their head and a leather strap that they put around their arm. This is like Jewish mysticism. And they use it as like a way. Fundamentally, the belief is that the Torah, hidden within the Torah, is a number, a pattern that if you're able to discern the number that the Torah is, you'll have the name of God. Well, at least that's how it's presented in this film I'm talking about. I'm not sure if that's.
We don't know any Jews.
I don't know any Jews, so you'll have to. But that's what it's. That's part of the movie. He's a Jewish guy.
Yeah.
The main protagonist of the movie is a Jewish guy, and he ends up getting embroiled in this kind of conspiracy where by the end of the movie you really wonder whether it was him manufacturing it because he had gone insane, or whether or not he was really onto something, but it almost drove him there and he decided to abandon it. It's a really cool movie. It's got a great soundtrack too. It's got this really great, like, kind of like, I don't know what you'd call it, breakbeat kind of trip hop kind of soundtrack. Pi, yeah. It's all black and white. Oh, dude, it's nothing like Jim Carrey's 23 movie. No. Just thinking about the Fibonacci sequence trip you out. The golden spiral and how it appears everywhere in nature. Our DNA, the shells of like trilobites, our eyes, the sun, the circular golden spiral of it all, the mathematical truth beneath all things.
I mean, nature definitely has the best, like, utility of patterns.
Yep. But underneath it all, the Fibonacci spiral.
Fuck. When is fireworks Mother's Day?
I don't even know if that's fireworks. It sounded like somebody letting off a couple fucking rounds.
Maybe.
Pretty sure that's just somebody fucking firing a gun off. It's like, what's the point?
I don't know. Unless they're killing coyotes like way the fuck over there or something. We don't know. Maybe
Like
they're scaring coyotes off all the way over there or something.
Yeah, it's fucking 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
What are you doing letting off rounds? What are you gonna do, dude? Country folk gonna country. That's disconcerting, maybe to you. It's just annoying to me. It's like, is that a kid that's got his dad's gun running around, or some drunk idiot, or some combination of both? This isn't the first time I've heard that. Probably is some kid. Who the fuck knows? Somebody being a moron at 1:30 in the morning. That's one of the things I'm kind of glad about. As a liberal, I'm not immediately like I know the report of a gun. Like, I knew immediately that was not a firework. But I'm not immediately like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know. I just grew up around yokels, so. Somebody being a fucking goofy with a deadly ass weapon. Whatever. Yeah, call the guys with more guns. Let's escalate this shit. Let's get more guns in this mix.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
And it's like the area we live in, we can't pinpoint any goddamn thing.
No. Yeah, like the cop would show up and he'd be like, okay, so you heard some gunshots. And I'd be like, yeah. And he'd be like, where? And I'd be like, kind of like over in that direction. Well, like from where though? Like over, it was definitely like to the westish. I could tell you that, over in the west somewhere.
So when you live on flat land, noise travels hella far.
Dude, you're gonna have to forgive my occasional use of the word liberal. It didn't always mean what it now means. And identifying yourself as politically liberal used to mean something very different. Used to be a much more common thing. Paul's a liberal, huh? Mm-hmm. It's like, dude, whatever. Liberals used to be cool once. Maybe. You know, back when there was enough of a distinction between mainstream Dems and Republicans that you didn't need to clarify how far left you are. Yeah. Exactly. Them old days. Liberal used to be a very broad term, and as more people have pried college terms out of the mouths of professors, it has been relegated to a subgenre at best and a slur at worst. You're right. You right about that. You think, yeah, dude, what do you think that investigation's gonna turn up? There was a report of what sounded like a 9mm handgun to the west. 2 distinct reports, about 1 second apart, somewhere to the west of me. All right, we'll check it out. Drive up and down the street shining their fucking flashlight a few times and go home and eat fucking donuts. We'll look into it. We'll get back to you if anything turns up. All right, thank you. Thank you so much, officer. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, officer. Thank God I'm a country boy. I don't know how else to put that. Don't shit my pants when I hear a gunshot. Thank God I'm a country boy. Yeah, he goes back to the PD with donut crumbs all over his mouth because he stopped on his way back and got a donut. And he's like, fucking idiot. I show up and he's like, I think I heard a gunshot. And I'm like, oh, really? And he's like, yeah, I think it was a 9mm. And I'm like, oh, fucking tell me more. You know, hold on. I got this crawler I got to finish. Anyway, it's this dumb fuck. I asked him, all right. So if you heard the report of a weapon, where was it? And he's like, it's over that way. I'm like, I'll look into it, sir. I'll stop at Yum Yum on the way back. I'm not going to justify the already bloated police budget around here by giving them another fucking call log so they can pretend they did something in this community when they didn't. Showed up. Reports of gunshot. Source inconclusive. Officer on scene. And that goes to the city council and they go, oh, fuck that shit. I know how it works. Sorry. And civically, I know how it works. I know how these fucking funding meetings go. I've sat in on them on the educational side, and let me just tell you, it ain't about results. It's about looking at the data, working back from a conclusion and using the data to support that conclusion. The conclusion, of course, being we need more money. How do we make the data fit that we need more money? Well, you can see here, let's just look randomly down here. Like, here's a call log, 1:30 in the morning. Gunshots. Officer on scene within 5 minutes. Took the report from the community, and somebody was there. Drove around, showed their presence. No more reports of gunfire that night, so we need a tank. Fuck that shit. Let that dumb kid be dumb. I was a fucking dumb kid once, too. I didn't run around shooting fucking guns off in the middle of the night, but whatever. There are different levels of dumb. Speaking of police, my county, a rather small rural county, now has one of those disarmed APC tanks, no turret or anything, but it could easily be put back on and rigged to shoot tear gas grenades. Dude, I saw this post the other day. It was somewhere on Reddit. I can't remember. I think I found it through Twitter. It doesn't matter. Somebody made a post about how, like, they live in this tiny town that functionally has like 800 residents in it. And the local sheriff's department recently got like this giant military looking vehicle with big fucking giant tires on it. Like something you would expect to be like a heavy recon vehicle in a battle zone or some shit. You know what I mean? And he's like showed a picture of it parked outside of this fucking rural, like, fucking sheriff station. It's absurd. The militarization of our police is absolutely absurd. It doesn't even matter if it was shopped to look bigger. It was a military fucking armored car vehicle. Probably cost about 300 grand. It's an absurd thing for a fucking rural sheriff department to even think about having, let alone have. For 300 grand, you could probably put like 4 cops on the street. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is that? What if Joe Bob down the street becomes a terrorist? Oh no. I'm sure having a cop show up in your seat is going to stop that. I don't call the fucking cops unless there's a major crime being done. And to me, some fucking dorky little kid letting off a couple rounds out in the country is not that. Sorry. I'd rather not get that person shot. I could understand that stuff being retrofitted to be used by the fire department. Maybe in some fucking capacity, but you were talking about the tank. Oh, well, whatever. I think we're on the same page, functionally. I mean, it's already at a dangerous level. Dude, in the most dangerous communities, it is considered to be high fucking treason to call the cops. Like a cop shows up to take your report, you're seen talking to the cops about some dirt that went down in the community, you're in fucking trouble. Like there's a snitches get stitches mentality with involving cops that's just toxic as fuck from both ends. It's the same thing with me, dude. There have been several fucking times. This is not, necessarily something that needs to involve a fucking cop, in my opinion, but whatever. You might feel different. I'm not going to call any cops. There's been that I described to you guys the fight we heard when I lived in the apartment complex, just sitting out on our balcony at night. 2 people going at it. Happened to be black folks having a fight. They got real elevated and shit. But I was waiting to hear somebody scream for help or whatever the fuck, and I never heard it, so I didn't call shit. Because I'm not going to be the dude that calls the execution squad. You know what I mean? Let them work it out. Nobody's hurting nobody. Who fucking cares? Little property gets destroyed, whatever. Like, that shit's replaceable. 2 human beings down there are not. It fucking sucks that we live in an era where, like, calling the public safety official to make sure everything is okay to de-escalate an argument would be the opposite of that. Who won the argument? Nobody. I guess probably the dude, because the girl ended up leaving. It was him kicking her out, basically, is how I remember it. Because his response to a lot of the escalation shit was like, what the fuck ever, just get your shit, get whatever you need and get the fuck out. And then it was a lot of, you know, whatever. A lot of hot-headed commentary and shit, but I didn't hear anybody fucking punch anybody or hit anybody or scream for help or nothing. I was waiting on that. No, it was like the end of a fucking bad thing is what it sounded like. It sounded like a bad thing ended badly. As they often do. A bad and toxic thing had a bad and toxic end. But ultimately, involving a bunch of fucking cops and that shit just wasn't gonna de-escalate the fucking situation, or had the potential to escalate it further. And that's not my fucking purview. All right, I'm done for the night. I'll see you guys later. Bye.